up, Sepup? You caught me practicing. That's great. It's truly amazing. Hello, Sepup, one and all. This is Sepup Plays the Piano number 2. Welcome. Where are you from? Let me know down in the chat. I was, by the way, thinking that maybe this chair would be good right here. That's my Herman Miller Aeron. You might notice that I have like a lot of chairs in here, but I'm like thinking to myself that like actually this is not ideal. It is not ideal. It really is not ideal. Anyway, so let's play something. Thank you. hello to all of you. I see that there are 7 of you right here. Where are you from? Thank you for stopping by. This is me playing this thing, which I used to hate. I used to only touch it when I was younger, and they gave me a gold star. This is a fact. So yeah, this is me overcoming that right here. Song requests are most welcome. If you have anything that you'd like me to play, then please let me know. This is one of those few times in the world, by the way, that like I will let people actually tell me to do things. Like in most cases, I will not respond to instructions. I will go my own way or the highway. So if you have a request, make it known. And yeah, like that'll be your privilege to command me as you will. Of course, within reason. as you can see, I'm just at the moment messing around. Hello, Sepups, and thank you for joining me on this live stream. Wow, everyone is so well behaved today. Everybody is so wholesome and peaceful. That's good. Anyway, so I hope everybody's doing great. I'm assuming that you've been kidnapped, you're under duress, and therefore you cannot say anything, which is all completely fine. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. There is no specific theme for this. It's literally just, does it sound symphonic? Does it give music? Oh, Vincent, thank you for popping in. Victor. No, you are too kind, Sepup. No. But wow. Thank you for the request, Vincent. Unfortunately, I don't know that song. Spirited Away, though. Do I know any songs from Spirited Away? Let me see. I don't know if I know anything from Spirited Away. I have to expose myself to more music, it seems. But still, let's try something around the same lines. Let's see. Okay, pause. Anybody know the song? Yes, you do know that song. Okay, amazing, great. Thank you. I am trying to decide, by the way, like what chair I should use. So like, maybe some of you who were here a little bit earlier on, you kind of knew that I was like thinking, do I use this or do I use that? I mean, like, you know, this thing right here, I mean, like, seems like a good idea, but like, I don't know like whether this is going to be like good for like you playing the piano. I kind of have to adjust it, kind of thing. I don't know. Does anybody have the chair? Like the Aeron, so I have to kind of like. I think there's like this tilt forward function, so like. No. Okay, yes. It's like. Okay. Are you? Hold up. Sorry, I don't know my own chair. Anyway, it is what it is. Ooh, that makes me think actually. Something Malaysian. Okay, got it. Finally, that's all. Ooh. I'm thinking actually of playing a cover of a famous AI song. I say AI song, and I know that it sounds interesting to think about right here, but I'm pretty sure that you've heard this before. Let me think of the key actually. Can anybody tell me what song this is? I feel like that key doesn't quite make sense. Let me see. I feel like this is the kind of music that you'd be listening to as you go like to bed, like as you sleep, as you are about to sleep, kind of thing. Is it about bedtime for all of y'all right now? Do I have kids watching me at the moment? Like, is it close to your bedtime, Sepup? So let me know. What time do you sleep? I'm actually curious though. Like, what time do people sleep? I mean, it's just cause like the time that you sleep kind of like indicates the kind of person that you are, kind of thing. But it could mean like so many other things. It's like maybe you're nocturnal, you know what I mean? Maybe you sleep at like 2 a.m. Maybe you work remotely. Maybe, I don't know, like you just don't sleep, you know, like you just don't have that biological need. You don't know, you know, like people could be that sort. So yeah, I mean, I sleep maybe at like, usually about 12 kind of thing. So Maybe I should like put some of you to sleep right now. I don't know, like could I? Let's see. Oh, thank you, Enket Leong. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hold on, one sec. Sorry, I thought that was like something earlier. Ikwan Ali asks, how many instruments I can play? Thank you for the question. That's a good question, actually. I don't know, honestly. I mean, like, violin, piano, cello. That's like the Asian combination right there. I have something a bit more unconventional to show you, though. One sec. I know I said piano, but I have this. Anyone seen this before? Do you know what this is? Do you know? Let's see actually if I can like stream this without like destroying my iPad. One sec. Yeah, it's a bit different. You know, it's not really like a piano anymore. I mean, like this is a drum basically, but it's kind of a special drum. If you actually were to, you know what? It's probably easier to show you. Yep. All right. So you can see actually like what is going on right here. So it's actually what we call like a steel tongue drum, melodic drum if you will. So yeah, like fun little object. Has anyone seen this before? Have you ever seen it before? I'm assuming from the lack of messages that maybe people have not really seen this before. But yeah, could be maybe it's a bit more, who knows. But yeah, let me show you actually. So here, if you hit a 1, then it's like a do, 2, re, mi, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. The 8, shall we say, degrees of a scale. But basically you can just play it like piano, honestly, so it's a bit unconventional. I actually don't know how many instruments I can play. Honestly speaking, like once you kind of know the theory, right, then you kind of know every single instrument, like TBH. Like it's that is not exaggeration. Like you kind of like know how to play almost anything. But meanwhile, actually, it looks like the theme has slightly changed. So there are some slightly more interesting tunes that we can play actually. And in fact, that's what I did on the cello live stream just the other day. I don't know if any of you were actually there, but you're probably familiar with this. Yes, that is right, Arman. That is absolutely right. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, right? Like you can literally just hit it and like it will make that sound, which is crazy. I mean, I called this a piano live stream, and I said that it was symphonic. It kind of is. I mean, like you. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we could actually play something that is maybe a bit more piano-like. Okay, sure, why not? play a song that I played earlier. Let's try it again. Alright. See, this is what I mean when I say that, like, actually, once you learn one instrument, you kind of like know, like, how to play all of them. It's because, like, the theory basically just like replicates itself, you know. So, I mean, like, a one is just kind of like a do, right? And then, like, once you kind of like know the idea of like key or like, you know, like relative pitch kind of thing, then it kind of like just like figures itself out. I can do this with a xylophone as well, by the way. So like it's, yeah. Has anybody tried this before, by the way? Or like, is this your first time seeing this? If it's your first time seeing this, then comment a first time in the chat. Something like that. Honestly speaking, like here I could even do like a Tibetan sound meditation session for you guys right now. Like, who's stressing out at the moment? Tell me your fears, your dreams, your hopes, your desires as the music plays. Yeah, it could probably be a meditation device, TBH. Let me think. It is not a traditional Malaysian instrument. It is a... I don't even know if it's from China, but like I definitely got this from China. It's like one of those like random things that you can actually buy like from China. And then, yeah, it's called a steel tongue drum. Wow, I should have just like put a link in the chat actually. I might put it in the description later. But anyway, yeah, it's what we call like a steel tongue drum. So the reason that we call it a steel tongue drum is like you've got these like tongues right here, like it literally looks like a tongue, right? So like it is carved in just like that. So apparently the first version of this came from the, I remember now, it came from the US actually. So then like what they would do actually is that they would take those like, you know, gas tanks, you know, like propane tanks. So they would take them and then like they would cut off like the edge of it. So then like they would take these and then like they would just like carve out some tongues there. So fun fact, this thing right here, so those of you who are like physics nerds, you might know, right? But actually the pitch of a sound, it depends on its frequency, right? So then as it turns out, basically if you have something that's larger, right? Then what ends up happening actually is that you will end up having a sound wave, right? That will have a lower frequency. Because why? Like when it reflects, right? So then like there's basically more distance to cover. So then when it actually resonates like inside the resonance structure, then as a result, right? So then because it's a larger distance, therefore you've got like a smaller, shall we say, like quantity, right? Of all of these like different reflecting waves that are coming out. And yeah, so like per unit time that is. So then like the result, right, is a deeper sound. So like basically, if that sounded like gibberish to you, the bigger they are, the more, shall we say, deep the sound is going to be. So you can see actually, like if I go like from big to small, so that's the biggest one. And then like, I have I think this 4 right here. So notice how it's getting like smaller, 6. Yeah. So actually notice also that there's like 1 here, and then there's a 1 there as well, right? They're the same pitch, but like, it's just that one of them, right, is smaller than the other. That's literally the only difference between like this one and that one. But basically you get the same sound. It is not Malaysian, but I can probably play like a Malaysian song if I want to. There you go. It's not the piano, but like, hopefully this counts. Alright, back to the piano for a bit. Before I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope everyone's enjoyed yourselves so far. Thank you for staying with me. Let's see, what shall we play next? That is a good question. I don't know the answer to that question. Let me see. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Nice, okay. Superb. I think that is a good one to close off this sesh. Thank you for joining me this evening. And I hope that you're gonna have a wonderful evening ahead. So yeah, it's a kind of like sleep-oriented live stream right there. Get your sleep, Sepoops. Like, sleep is important to a healthy, wealthy lifestyle. So yes, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will catch you later. Bye. Chi. Ow.